Prince Harry stands there straight-backed, delivering a speech he's practiced 100 times. Every eye in the room is on him. The vibe serious, formal, respectful, then out of nowhere, Meghan Markle walks onto the stage, no heads up, no invitation, just her bold as ever, and the audience freezes Harry. Tenses, he glances at her, but this time he doesn't hand over the mic. The room goes silent, everyone realising they're seeing something no official royal statement will ever talk about. A public standoff between the Duke and Duchess. For years the story was clear. Harry stepped back, letting Meghan take the spotlight every time he made room for her to shine. But not tonight. This moment flipped everything. The dynamic between them totally upside down, and the crowd not the applause Meghan expected. Not even polite claps, just a heavy icy silence that felt like a warning. And here's the kicker, what went down on that stage was just the start. The story didn't end when Meghan walked off. It set off a chain reaction: humiliation, media frenzy, and whispers of betrayal that haunted them long after the lights went down. If you think that silent crowd was brutal, wait until you hear what insiders are saying about the fallout behind closed doors. Stick around, because what comes next isn't just awkward. It's the clearest sign that Harry and Meghan's carefully built facade is starting to crack wide open. So was Harry refusing the mic, his way of finally pushing back. Drop your thoughts below. Here's how it played out. Harry was mid-speech, calm, collected, every move rehearsed. Then Meghan appeared completely unannounced, walking straight onto the stage with that confident energy that demanded attention. The room didn't cheer, it froze. Even Harry looked caught off guard, his eyes narrowing just a fraction as he processed what was happening. She reached out, hand on his back. The same move that in the past had always meant he handed over the mic without hesitation, but this time he didn't. He straightened, gripped the mic tighter, and kept talking. That tiny refusal, barely noticeable unless you were paying close attention, hit like a lightning strike. Not just defiance, it was a complete shift in their dynamic. Right there under the glare of all those cameras, the energy in the room flipped instantly. What should have been a smooth, united moment suddenly felt awkward, like watching an argument play out without a single word. Meghan forced a smile, her hand lingering just long enough to make it clear she wasn't backing down, but Harry's eyes stayed on the crowd, focused, determined not to flinch. In that one tiny exchange, everything changed. The balance of power shifted, and the audience felt it. No applause, no polite claps, no murmurs of approval. Not even a sympathetic chuckle, just absolute freezing silence. Meghan stayed by Harry's side, smile fixed, waiting for the recognition she thought would come. Seconds stretched into eternity, and the tension grew heavier with every passing heartbeat. That silence louder than anything words or even alcohol could drown out. Harry kept speaking, voice steady, ignoring the awkward energy just inches from him. Meghan lingered in that spotlight, expecting a nod, a cheer, anything but nothing. The audience wasn't hostile, worse, they were indifferent. And in the world of royalty, indifference is the cruelest rejection of all. Eventually, with no reaction to cling to, Meghan shifted, glanced at Harry and slowly made her way to the sidelines. Each step looked like a small concession, a quiet acknowledgement that the crowd had picked a side, and it wasn't hers. Observers later described the air as ice cold, like everyone knew something had gone wrong. But no one dared move. Her exit wasn't scripted, and everyone knew it. But that silence, it was just the beginning. By the next morning, the awkward moment had vanished in mainstream coverage. Major outlets didn't show the full story. Instead, polished still shots appeared. Meghan smiling, Harry by her side, looking perfectly in sync. To the casual viewer, nothing had happened. The tension gone, the rejection erased. The cameras had captured it all, but the footage was carefully trimmed, replaced with images designed to rewrite the narrative. And honestly, in my opinion, it's absolutely disgusting that people are still missing this beyond the pale. Social media, though, told a completely different story. Clips started popping up online showing the raw, unfiltered moment, Meghan stepping up the crowd, freezing Harry, refusing to hand over the mic. And just like that, these short videos went viral, racking up millions of views in hours. The contrast couldn't be ignored. Official outlets showed harmony. The uncut clips screamed tension. Critics slammed the media for shielding Meghan, protecting her from what could have been a serious public relations hit. Supporters said the silence was blown out of proportion, just a misread of body language. But the fact remained, the truth was split in two. One version played on TV, the other spread across social feeds. And that split, it wasn't an accident. Royal coverage has always been curated, But this time the edits didn't just soften the story, they flipped it entirely. Which begs the question, if this one moment could be rewritten, how many others have been hidden from view the deeper you dig? The clearer it becomes this wasn't just about a single speech, it was about control. So, what do you think? Did the media crop out Meghan's awkward moment to protect her image, or to hide the truth? Drop your thoughts below. Because what happened on that stage, it wasn't just awkward, it was a glimpse into a much bigger fracture. For years, Harry was seen as the guy who bent over backward for Meghan, always stepping aside to let her take the spotlight. But in that moment, he drew a line right there in front of thousands, and it sent a message resistance that single refusal wasn't just about a microphone, it hinted at a bigger power shift, not just in their marriage, but in how the world sees them now. Then there's the royal angle. Officially, Harry's been stripped of some titles and duties, yet at certain international events he's still introduced as Prince Harry, treated with the kind of respect usually reserved for working royals. It's confusing, he's in a weird limbo, neither fully in nor fully out, and Meghan, standing next to him, starts to feel like an outsider trying to claw her way back into relevance. And insiders say this ambiguity isn't an accident. Buckingham Palace keeps Harry's role intentionally unclear, giving recognition when it suits them, pulling it away when it doesn't. It keeps people talking, keeps headlines alive, and ensures the Sussexes stay part of the conversation. Whether they like it or not, that stage moment just amplified all of it. Harry publicly pushing back against Meghan raised questions the palace didn't have to ask out loud. Is he starting to put the crown first? Or is he simply done being overshadowed? Either way, the cracks aren't hidden anymore behind the polished photos and public smiles. The real battles aren't about speeches or microphones. They're about family. Sources close to the couple say Harry desperately wants his kids to experience the traditions he grew up with. He's talked about Eton, the elite British school generations of royals attended, imagining Archie walking the same halls he once did. For Harry, it's more than schooling, it's heritage, a link to the life he left behind. Meghan, on the other hand, reportedly has no interest in raising their children in the UK. She wants them in California, far from the strict royal bubble. But it doesn't stop at geography. Insiders say Meghan has blocked talks of British schooling entirely, unless, as one source put it, appropriate concessions are made, whether financial security related or otherwise. To some, it looks less like negotiation and more like leverage. This tug of war has become symbolic of their whole relationship. Meghan seems to hold the upper hand in private decisions, steering the family with firm resolve. Harry, once happy to follow, is now quietly pushing back. Friends say he's growing frustrated, torn between longing for a connection to his past and feeling blocked by Meghan's refusals. The irony, their children have become pawns in a bigger struggle, tradition versus independence, loyalty versus rebellion. And while the crowd only saw a microphone snub, insiders say the real power struggle was happening far from the cameras. If Meghan's sudden stage move was bold, what came next was brutal. Event organisers quietly but unmistakably adjusted her role for the rest of the evening. She was kept out of the spotlight. Instead of her usual front and centre spot, Meghan was escorted to a side seat close enough to be seen but far enough to make it clear she wasn't in charge. No announcement was made, but the message was loud and clear. Her role had been downgraded. The optics didn't help. Observers noticed her designer gown, meant to dazzle, looked oddly stiff under the harsh lights. Social media commentators picked up on her tight smile and strained expression. Meanwhile, Harry mingled confidently with guests, while Meghan sat stiffly clapping at the right moments, but rarely engaging with anyone around her. For someone used to commanding attention, the crowd's silence and the organisers' indifference hit like a quiet humiliation. Critics dissected every detail: forced laughter, awkward posture, even the way her jewellery caught the camera. Supporters called it an oversight, but witnesses knew better. This wasn't an accident. The shift was subtle but devastating. For the first time, Meghan wasn't just ignored, she was sidelined. And as the night went on, it was obvious the audience wasn't going to help her reclaim control. Meanwhile, the palace played its own game. Within hours, contradictory headlines rolled out. Some framed Harry as a respected prince, still treated with the formality of his UK life. Others doubled down on the narrative that he'd been stripped of titles, cut off from royal privilege. This wasn't sloppy reporting, it was strategy. By keeping Harry's role ambiguous, the palace fuels constant speculation. Every event becomes a guessing game. Will he be introduced with honour or ignored as an outsider? That uncertainty sells papers, drives debate. and keeps the Sussexes in the royal conversation. Whether anyone wants them there or not, Meghan's presence adds another layer. She draws clicks, global attention and headlines, but her polarising image makes every misstep front-page news. Critics say Buckingham Palace has learned from past scandals. Instead of cutting the Sussexes off entirely, they keep them dangling, relevant enough to stay in public view, distant enough to avoid real influence. It's the same playbook once used with Sarah Ferguson, not fully inside, but never completely gone. For Meghan, this unclear status is a nightmare. Every appearance gets dissected. Every rumour gets blown up. For Harry, it's a prison of ambiguity. He's not free from his past, but he's not fully accepted by it. Either together, they're trapped in a cycle where the institution and the media profit from their drama while their public image slowly erodes piece by piece. And if that wasn't enough, the fallout from that stage clash pushed their already fragile dynamic into uncharted, dangerous territory. What started as a routine speech, suddenly it became a public turning point. Meghan stepping onto that stage wasn't just a surprise, it was a revelation. The crowd silenced Harry, refusing the mic, the media burying the truth. It all exposed something bigger, cracks no one was supposed to see. And if it's this raw in front of cameras, just imagine what's happening behind palace walls. The story isn't over, and the next chapter is even more shocking. Think, that was dramatic. Wait until you hear about Meghan's hidden family twist that left Harry completely speechless. It connects directly to everything you just watched. And trust me, you'll want the full story. Don't stop here. Click that next video to see it all.